Welcome to the second in a series of shows focusing on Brookline as an age-friendly community. The Board of Selectmen in 2012 established an Age-Friendly Cities Committee based on the recognition that the World Health Organization of the United Nations recognized Brookline as the first in New England to be an age-friendly city on their global network. The Age-Friendly Cities Project is committed to strengthening the already age-friendly features of Brookline, and this show is going to focus on the age-friendly support of recreation and transportation departments. The Recreation Department reports directly to the town administrator and is committed to strengthening our age-friendly features throughout the summer programs. Our guests are from the Recreation Department, Assistant Director Melissa Petit, and John Dempsey, who's a volunteer on the Bicycle Advisory Committee. The theme of this show is inclusion of all Brookline residents, whether bicyclists or pedestrians, in summer programs. Welcome, Melissa. Melissa Petit is the Assistant Director of the Brookline Recreation Department and has been with the department for 22 years. Melissa works with both inside and outside of Brookline, creating and developing partnerships. She also works with the public sector and the private sectors, and she supports the delivery of year-round health and wellness services throughout the department, including the community-wide initiatives of Brookline. Welcome, Melissa.
Thank you.
Again. And John. John Dempsey was a teacher and administrator at the Edward Devotion School for 27 years, 7 of which were as principal. John is currently a volunteer with the Bicycle Advisory Committee, which advises the Transportation Board on bicycle matters. John conceived of the idea of the Brookline Bikes Beacon Bicycle Parade and just finished coordinating his 8th annual parade, 500 bicyclists, all ages, riding up and down Beacon Street, safely, orderly, and having fun. The Brookline Bike Parade is the kickoff for the summer season. Welcome, John.
Well, thanks very much.
Melissa, can you tell us something about the Recreation Department and its responsibilities and what it does related to the summer?
Sure. The Recreation Department is, in my opinion, one of the core services in town. We provide services year-round to community members of all ages, so fits right into the age-friendly model.
Absolutely.
Our goal is to provide high-quality, safe, fun services, which sometimes will yield a lesson that you learn a skill. Sometimes it's socializing, meeting new friends. There's a wide variety of programs and services that we offer throughout the parks and our facilities.
So you actually use the parks. This is not the Parks Department. I always think of Parks and Recreation, probably because I watch too many TV shows. But my sense is that Recreation in Brookline is very separate from the Parks Department. Is that correct?
It's a separate department, and Parks and Open Space is a division of Public Works, but we share a Park and Rec Commission, which is our policy making board, and we actually work in parallel. We can't work without each other. Right. So for an example, all of our outdoor youth sports take place on parks, on the ball fields. So the Recreation Department will organize the sports, coordinate with some of the private boards and organizations, and we'll do the permitting for the fields. But the Park Department maintains them and really lays out the capital plan for improvements or changes on those fields.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Can we, now on those fields, do we have bicycles? No.
We actually, the partnerships you're just talking about, I remember the first bike parade, and it was actually a partnership of the Recreation and Public Health.
That's right.
And we got the police involved,
yes,
and everybody in the Parks Department. But even then, the permitting for Amory Playground, where we organize the bike parade,
right,
comes, you do the permitting. I always call you,
that's
and
right,
you also take care of the money.
That's right.
Which I love.
Right.
So.
Yeah, how did the bike parade go? It started at Amory? Is that where it
Yeah, we started Amory Park, and we have these wonderful bike shops come, and the bike techs, so everybody can get a free safety check on your bike while you're there. And then we have nonprofits and community groups to set up little tables. The Historical Society is one of the groups. I'm also involved in that, so I make sure that they're there, in the Recreation, the Parks Department. And so we gather at Amory Park, and then we line up on Amory Street, and off we go, promptly at 1 o'clock.
Probably
So
right.
we listen for that BU processional, the graduation processional. As soon as that music starts, we go.
Oh, is it always key to the bride?
Well, weekends in May are hard. It's hard to find a weekend in
Right.
May when everything isn't happening. So yes, in past years it's coordinated with the BU graduation. Drives some people crazy, but it works.
And all ages are involved? I mean, it's
All
a
ages.
bicycle.
We advertise it as 8 to 88. And when I say that, I like the alliteration to start with. But I also have a friend who's 88. Next year he's going to be 89. He comes to the bike parade every year, so I'm going to have to say 8 to 89.
Okay, I just want to make sure I have no limits on the age if I
No
want to join
limit.
this.
88 plus is what I always say. 88 plus. So
Okay,
no
I'm ready.
limits.
Next year, I promise.
I'm counting on it.
Melissa, do you have any specific programs? One of the ones mentioned to me was the Golfin Library, because it seemed to be focused towards some kind of new program.
So that's another partnership that we do here in town with the Recreation Department and Library Services. And we've been doing this, I want to say this might be our 4th year. It's June 20th. And it's an all-day event, weekend event, I should say. And we bring mini golf into the main library. And you'd never believe what it looked like, but the aisles of the
No
library
windmills,
turn into mini golf, 18 holes, and we use the stairwell, and we have food and different things going on. And over the years it's changed, but we have a section for children, we have a section for adults, and then we have a family section. So you can go in the evening as an adult where you wouldn't be interrupted with young children, and it's a different atmosphere in terms of our refreshments and different activities that take place. And then you can come as a family of all ages. The first year we did it, we had several families that were 3 generations that came to do
that's
mini
great.
golf in the library, which is really great. So our department partners with the librarians, and it's really come to be something that people look forward to every year.
That's great. The library has a lot of programs, but that's fantastic. It's bringing outdoors indoors.
That's
so I
right.
really enjoy it. And as far as the bicycles are concerned, I have a question I've been saving.
Okay. Everybody has questions
Well,
about bicycles.
all our
Everybody has an
all of
opinion.
our
Right.
age-friendly activities are involve very often where we talk about North Brookline, and we always sort of ignore South Brookline, and I can't picture doing that when it comes to bicycles. So what do you do with what is available in South Brookline as far as bicycling is concerned?
Well, can I back up on that question
You
a little bit?
absolutely
Because I just want to explain the Bicycle Advisory Committee, just to be clear with people, because we're a group of 6. We just got expanded to 7. I don't know why, but just to kind of broaden, be inclusive, I
It's
guess.
an odd
But-
number. You
So
can vote.
an odd number, yeah. We have all these contentious votes. It's a group that's appointed by the Transportation Board to advise the Transportation Board on bicycling matters. In other words, they're trying to make a decision on the board about moving people around the town of Brookline. And they solicit our advice on, well, what do bicyclists feel about this? You're out in the streets every day. What do you need to make it safe for you to encourage bicycling and all? So one of our big initiatives is a Green Routes Plan, where we took public buildings like the high school, we started with the high school, and commercial districts. How can we make bicycling to and from these places safe? And the South Brookline, you asked about South Brookline, that's a huge acreage out there, square
Right,
miles,
right,
a lot of roads and places to travel. How can we encourage that? So we've moved now, we're still concentrating on North Brookline, but we've moved to South Brookline in terms of our Green Routes Plan. And in a year or 2, you're going to start to see some improvements. I'm thinking right away of where Newton Street meets
Oh, yeah.
Clyde Street, meets Goddard Avenue. Now that's a favorite route for many bicyclists commuting into the city to the hospital area particularly.
Right.
So we're going to have plans. We've asked the Transportation Board to consider plans for a protected bike route along Newton Street to make it safer for those bicyclists coming through.
Oh, that's
So-
great.
But you think of the other areas like the Parkway. You want bicycles on the side of the Parkway, and we have some shoulder there that we can play with and make it safer.
Yeah, wherever there's room. I mean, and even if there, if you rethink things, I always, every time I see a bicycle that looks somewhat endangered, I sit and think there must be something we can do there.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. You guys do.
I'm glad you're thinking about it. Yeah, well, a lot of people are thinking about it. I think drivers are, worried. They're worried about, they don't want to injure bicyclists, and the bicyclists are worried about.
Yeah. Thank you, Melissa. How the rec programs that we have deal with people of all ages? I know that, but I have no understanding of how it works. And I also don't know what happens with other people in the community. How do we include all aspects of the community in the rec programs?
Sure. So our programs do service community members from infancy through senior citizens, and it's a wide variety of services depending on personal interests,
Right.
the season, the weather, access, things like that. One of the things we're really proud of is our rec therapy division, which is recreation therapy, is
Right.
services directly for community members who have disabilities, and providing services throughout our programs that are inclusive, and then also to provide services that are specific to people with disabilities. So
Great.
we have children and adults that are participating in our programs side by side with their peers that we are able to accommodate and make adaptable. And then we have standalone programs similar to Special Olympics. We have Special Olympics teams, close to 150 athletes year-round participating. We have dinner groups. We do trips on Friday nights that are specifically geared towards those individuals. And most of them are gaining social skills. We have an employment program with the school department. We work extremely close with the school department regarding extended school year services for our students who are going to school in the summer. So they join our summer program in the afternoon, so then they can have a summer camp experience with their peers, and their families can continue to work or provide a full day wraparound care when
right.
their child's school program may have ended at 12 noon. So we really strive to be an inclusive department, not only for people with disabilities, but of all ages and for access purposes too. So we do have transportation available. We have a yellow school
really?
bus, we have a mini bus, and we have 3 12-passenger vans, one of which has a handicap lift in it. So
excellent.
it's part of what we do by design and everything we create.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Thanks. Bicycles.
Okay.
Okay. You know what I'm going to come to next? Pedestrians.
Oh, great. Well, I'm glad you asked.
That's the second part of the program. Yes.
You want me
How
to
do
talk?
we? I'm going to lay right into you. I'm not
Yeah,
going to ask
I'd love
specific
to- I'd
questions.
love to talk
I'm a
about
bicyclist. I'm a pedestrian. I know both. and the real question is we worry about cars, both of us, right? But how do the two work together? Especially in the summer
It's a
when
great
it's so
question because we've got the issue of bikes on sidewalks. It drives me crazy. First of all, it's illegal to be riding a bike on a sidewalk in a commercial area, and we've tried to define exactly what the commercial areas are. And my personal feeling, I'm a member of the Bicycle Advisory Committee, but I have personal feelings too. And one is that if you're in a commercial area on a bicycle, you should be riding at a walker's pace. So get off the bike and walk the bike, please. We've all seen situations where pedestrians have almost been knocked over by bicyclists. Pedestrians are hit by cars too. Peggy Harris, I don't know if you knew Peggy Harris. She was very involved with the senior center. Wonderful, wonderful woman. And I saw her almost get knocked over by a bicyclist making a corner on a red light. And so I stopped. My sense of my vigilante sense was like, go after that bicyclist,
Well,
but
yeah.
I was able to stop myself and talk to Peggy and help her across the street. And you know what she was doing? She was going to the bank. This is right in Coolidge Corner. She was going to the bank for a friend of hers who was afraid to walk on the sidewalks because the danger of falling,
Yeah.
getting hit by a
shouldn't
bicyclist,
be.
getting hit by a car.
that shouldn't
So
be.
here's Peggy doing something good, and she almost gets knocked over. So I think it's not all bicyclists, but some of my brothers and sisters on bikes are not aware fully aware of their responsibilities to pedestrians.
Yeah, I've noticed changes. I've noticed improvements and more awareness.
Yeah.
I've seen it growing, and I've seen people walking on commercial areas. I've seen all kinds of behavior, but that's true in everything.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's good to talk about and to think about.
And the police are helping with education and enforcement too.
Yeah, that's great.
Appreciate it.
So, coming back to pedestrians, which is your field, what about walks and places that people, for the summer, that they know where to go and what to do, and just as individuals walking around, and me as a pedestrian again,
Right.
walking the city.
Sure. So there
there
are
any help?
some resources on the website, not particularly on the Recreations website, but it might be on Parks and Open Space. Many of the parks, as they've
Right.
been renovated, have bike paths and walking paths within the park itself. And I know one of our the Parks and Open Space initiatives in the coming year to 2 years is really to map out. So if people are looking, how long will it take me in terms of mileage to walk around the Brookline Reservoir, for
Right.
instance, because of health and wellness being such a huge initiative for both of our departments, we're really trying to focus on healthy initiatives. And in fact, this summer, July is National Park and Rec Month across the country, and we always try to participate in their initiatives. So we are launching, in partnership with the Health Department and the Parks and Open Space, free fitness in the parks.
Excellent.
So we'll be hopefully in the next week or two having our calendar available where different parks throughout town will be offering different free fitness opportunities in conjunction with our
I love it.
with Brookline on the Move. And our partners through Brookline on the Move are the agencies in town for providing these services as their business.
Right.
But as a community without a community center, we created this partnership so that we can provide access to these services without having a community center. So we're really excited about this new initiative that we're rolling out this summer, in addition to all of the other health and wellness opportunities that we have.
Oh, that's great. And speaking of the website, I hope everybody notices. I think we're putting it up and making it available to everybody so they can see where it is.
Great, yep, brooklinerec.com.
Right. Thank you. Speaking of the reservoir, is the Brookline Reservoir, are you allowed to bike around that? Or is that, do you know?
I
mean
can't
to-
tell you.
yeah.
You know, I would say, why would you bike around it? It's a beautiful place to walk.
It is.
And it's, it's a walking path, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you, actually.
It's like Jamaica Pond. They don't want bikes on Jamaica Pond.
Oh, that I knew, and that's a place to walk too, actually. That's the only problem is, of course, it stops you from going places.
Yeah.
But,
You can bike to Jamaica Pond, and they have a bike path around Jamaica Pond. So, it skirts Jamaica.
Oh, is that
Pond.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
It's
know
part of
that.
the commuter route, really.
Oh, I've got to get that route.
So you got to get the Green Routes
The
plan.
Green Routes Plan. You're absolutely. I will actually. I'm going to get the Green Routes Plan.
That's on our website, Brookline Bikes.
BrooklineBikes.com or .org? Or
.org.
.gov?
.org.
BrooklineBikes.org.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to give you a chance before we reach the closing portion
The
of
witching
the
hour.
show. Well, I want to give you each a chance to speak up for both your departments in the summer program. So, if I'm going to give each of you a few minutes, like 2 or 3, just to maybe think about it. I'm letting you think. So, Melissa, I'd like to start with you. What would you like to emphasize as far as recs for the recreation?
For this summer, the new initiative that I just spoke about,
Right.
for age-friendly purposes in terms
Yes.
of what's available to everyone, we have our annual free summer concert series, which is at Emerson Gardens, right in
Yes.
Brookline Village. That'll start up the Wednesday after July 4th,
Great.
and it'll go consecutive weeks from there on. The Parks Department has the free outdoor movie series. There's, and I don't know the
really?
exact dates, but they have 3 movies throughout the summer, which is really a fun thing to go, because there's no drive-ins around anymore, or close by at least. So that's a great free opportunity for the community. But I think one of the things I'd like to talk about in terms of one of the things we're proud of in the summer is the ability for students to actually access their free and reduced lunch program during our camp program that goes across all of the partnerships. So between the school department and the rec department, we probably service close to 1,100, 1,200 students from preschool through summer school.
Oh, wow.
And they can access the cafeteria for purchase. If they want to buy a la carte, they can use their cash. But if they are on free and reduced, they can definitely utilize that service throughout the summer, which has been a huge enhancement to our program, and I think a relief to many families who struggle to provide that extra meal in the summer that they're not used to having to provide during the school year. So that's something that this year we're expanding, and I just would like to give the food pantry a little kick on that, because they are expanding to a new location at the Egmont Housing Authority this summer, which is really a great way to partner with them.
Great. Is there is that on the website, the information on that, or
It's on their website.
their
Yes,
website,
yeah, but
so-
that is a direct service to our summer participants who are coming every day.
Excellent. And John,
We don't have formal programs during the summer for bicycling. Our kickoff is the bike parade, and that's the kind of the welcome to summer. We partner with the Parks Department and celebrate the parks at the same time. So by providing the bike techs at the bike parade, people can kind of see what they need to do to get their bikes up to snuff. We have a wonderful bike shop in Brookline. Landry's is the bike shop for Brookline. But then we have these wonderful shops, Eastern Mountain Sports, East Coast Alpine, REI, Urban Adventures. They're in Boston, but they have been a supporter for 8 years, the bike parade. Get your bike down there, get it greased up and the wheels trued and the seat at the right height, and off you go. We do want to make bicycling safe. That's our job, is to make bicycling safe. So in summer is a perfect time to bike, and kind of maybe the streets are a little less busy, so get out there.
well, as I told you before, I think you've got me going.
Yeah.
Because
Good.
I'm going to be biking.
Holding you to it.
I missed it last year, and I biked a little before, and I'm certainly going to step up and go out.
That's what we're promoting.
Right. Great. Excellent. I just wanted to discuss a little further with the library. The next show we're having is in September, and we're going to concentrate on the library because of all the various programs they have with Rex, with everybody actually, with various departments. And we're going to go and see their plans for the year and go through some of the library programs.
Libraries all have bike racks.
They do.
Yes.
They actually do.
They do.
I did notice.
I want to get bikes in there.
No, and actually the concern I have around Brookline is exactly that. Where do you put the bike? How many people do you see locked, with their bikes locked to a pole, sticking in the street, and they get stolen? I mean, there's no question. The biggest concern,
Or they decompose.
because they're there so long.
Oh my God, this winter was rough.
Now, I'm not going to suggest that this is a great idea, but I have seen in Cambridge, a couple of other places, corporations, for instance, require either licenses or numbers on bikes, so that if they're left, exactly for that reason, if they're left there for 3 weeks, right, they can either take it away and find out who owns it,
Yeah, exactly.
or they can at least identify it if someone comes to claim it afterwards. But they can pull it away from the pole or the street or this, wherever it happens to be. And it could be it was left there because someone stole it. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
But is
We
that something
we have a
considered?
volunteer program with the police. The police encourage us to register our bikes with them for exactly the reasons that you're talking about, so they can identify who the bike belongs to. But it's a voluntary program,
Great,
so
great. So I
you
hit
can
it.
do that at the police station.
I have to.
We get you signed up for everything, Matt.
Okay.
We have you cornered in this room.
Well, I think we're running out of time, so I'm gonna thank you both for being here, and I'm gonna just thank everybody else for joining us tonight, and remind them that the program is broadcast several times in the next few weeks, and it'll be available on the Brookline Can website and on the Brookline Can Twitter and Facebook site. As I said, in September we're going to have the library department, and then we have some other programs planned for later in the year. But I think we're going to take the rest of the summer off. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.